there. Okay, thank you for please focusing so that we can try to launch our class today. We're missing Will Powell, Carver Hessog, Peter Gerson, and Gavin Gerke. Hey, let's do a little quick population check. Over yesterday, we're what, 210 or something? 210,000?
What do you think about
yeah.
the number like that today? Each one of those numbers, like how much that means to some people?
Yeah.
Just like a number.
Yeah. I mean, like that's a lot of humanity happening right there. Like any way you measure it, that's like there's so many meaningful things in the world today, you know, and all those bundles of joy too. Like, and how do all those parents feel? You know, like when I had a child, it's like I won. Because I mostly have, like, you know, health insurance and food to spare. Like, what's that like for everyone else, you know? Like, is everybody just as pumped as I am, or are some people kind of heading behind a little bit? It's a lot of humanity, man. All right. No more mushrooms. Gotta finish the movie. Gotta talk about a bunch of papers. Anybody know where we left off yesterday?
Christmas cake.
Thanks. Perfect. Nope. Boom. I will find you this Christmas cake while you get your papers ready, but please hurry so we can talk about the labs afterwards. Hurry. I believe that was question number like 6 or something.
Is now seen by some as a kind of female selfishness. But I think women, in general, are trying to do different things with their lives.
Tomoko. Are we ready? This is a woman, Tomoko, what? Okay. Anyway, this is that woman, papers are still. So you answered the thing about parasite symbols yesterday. We talked about your ovaries yesterday. And by the way, I don't mean to, I have zero interest in your reproductive lives. I speak purely biologically with a cold detachment that may sometimes feel a little inhumane to some of you. I plead the scientist defense.
Omuro is a leading television journalist. At age 29, she became one of Japan's first female anchors.
I think there are two doors for women. One door has a letter for promotion, and the other one doesn't really have anything, and you just stay on the same level forever. And lots of women end up taking coffees and serving tea. And I didn't want to have that kind of work. And I was looking for a good lifetime career.
By age 37, Tomoko had become an editor-in-chief, supervising a team of producers and reporters. Her husband in recent years often asked her when they might start a family.
Many companies in Japan still consider women with children as a burden. So I was was so scared to have a baby because I thought I would just drop out of the race. So I kept on just postponing it. But when I turned 37 or so, I started feeling like, I don't know, something was missing in my life.
At 41, Tomoko gave birth to their daughter, Asumi. Her initial ambivalence about motherhood is becoming increasingly common.
When I get married, it might be better to have kids, but I don't worry about it.
If I get married, I might think about having kids in my 30s.
If I'm working, I can live on my own. In the older time, marrying for Japanese women was like a dependency. It's not like that anymore.
But besides wanting careers, there's another crucial reason that more women are working.
In Japan, the economy since 89, 90 has been in a recession. Japanese women often have to work to keep their families middle class. One income doesn't work for many families, especially in terms of the cost of children's education. It's an exceptionally expensive task to raise a successful child in Japan.
There's a saying that Japanese men live at the office and commute to home, often catching the last train at midnight. Now, as more women join their husbands at work, they're discovering that the long hours required by most employers make having a family, certainly a large one, difficult. For Tomoko, it was a tough challenge to find a daycare center who could look after Asumi for 13 hours a day, given the unpredictable hours of the newsroom. For 6 months, her mother moved to Tokyo to help. Now that she's gone, Tomoko agonizes at the thought that her daughter may be asleep by the time she's picked up.
If you are an executive, you can't say, oh, it's 5 o'clock, I'm leaving. If there's work, you have to complete your work. Right now, I'm trying to figure out how to work with my full ability and at the same time, just save the time for my baby. My husband, I know he's busy, maybe busier than I am. Japanese people tend to work for long hours, and unless we change that kind of idea, the declining birth rate is going to continue.
Three hours from Tokyo, near the elementary school of Oguchi, one can glimpse the flip side of the country's falling birth rates. By 2050, 1 in 3 Japanese will be over the age of 65. In Oguchi, this is already the reality. Mr. and Mrs. Ono's house was once packed with 3 generations. But since their parents died and their children left for careers in the city, life for this 80-year-old couple has become lonelier.
In the old times, it was normal for a daughter-in-law to look after her in-laws. So that's why I took care of my father-in-law until he died at 83.
Our children have grown up and gone to live in Tokyo. They've all gotten married and have to worry about sending their children to school. That's their place now. They have to work, and they can't afford to come back here and look after us.
The governmental query now is who cares for our elders. In essence, though, the government really feels that families are responsible and society isn't. And ultimately, when you say family, you mean woman.
But with more women working, there's often no one at home to care for the elderly. The stress on families is mounting, especially since neither the government nor private industry have been able to fill the gaps. If the owner should get sick, the only nearby nursing home is full. To ensure their security in old age, the owners had counted on profits from their forest. But as globalization brought in cheap timber from the Philippines, they were unable to sell their trees.
I can't depend on my children, so I don't know what to do. It would be great if the government builds lots of nursing homes and takes care of us. But I don't have high expectations. Staying healthy is the best thing, but we can't stay healthy forever.
Japan's population pyramid looks like India's turned upside down, reflecting how the elderly dramatically outnumber the young.
America is almost doing that. We don't have quite as dramatic a taper. And coincidentally, we have what's called a baby boom echo. Where all the baby boomers had more babies than usual, so there's the baby boom, and then about 22 years down is their plus babies. In our case, the economy was really good for a while. So probably your great-grandparents, one day great-grandpa came home and was like, hey, great-grandma, guess who got a raise? We're buying a house. And, they celebrated. And thus your grandparents' generation, I know, that's a wonderful thing to think about. Your grandparents' generation just had a lot more babies than usual. There had to be a teacher, many people to educate. 15 years later, all those babies start graduating from high school, either going to college or directly into some other field. Many college students, much economic activity. With much economic activity, there's a good reason to be in college. There's just the momentum of development. The baby boom is just good news all around, because that's going to require more baby food, and then more zit cream, and then more beer. Like, I'm trying to think of what are like the stages. Like, first the baby stuff, then the teenage stuff, then the college age. By the 70s, the baby boomers were mostly going through college activism. You remember the 70s had a pretty aggressive social scene. By the 80s, they were all in the business world, and they were all coked out, like getting a lot of work done. Economy explodes, everybody's excited, government begins to balloon because of all those extra taxes coming in, and all those extra consumers buying all that stuff being made by all the extra producers. So there's more economic transactions, meaning the government gets a bigger total number after their cut of all those transactions. Scary thing is that baby boom is about to hit retirement age in the United States, and the part that matters most about the retiring baby boomers is not really them, but those of us who are still trying to support a smaller economy with less production, less consumption, thus less economic transactions. So the pool of money raised by taxes is smaller, and government at that exact moment has less money coming in, and please look up, more money going out. I don't mean to talk smack, but the elderly cost us as a society, and they're living longer than before, so they cost us more than they used to. I think it's a price well paid. I'm not complaining. The elderly have built our country, setting up our current economy, and so they've already paid that money. It's owed to them because it's theirs to begin with. I'm not trying to, do not go lynching the elderly, please. But the point is that elderly are expensive.